Jackson's top teacher from Western Schools, Teresa Nagy. Teresa, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here. And quite a few people that I know that are in education said, well, it's about time.
Yeah, it is. It's been 25 years that I've been with Western School District.
25
Ooh,
years.
I know.
Wow.
I'm one of the only teachers in the district who have taught all levels, elementary, middle school, and high school. So I've been pretty blessed to be able to work my way through all the ages.
And now you are at the alternative
Yep.
high school,
Western Career Prep.
and you chose that assignment when an opening came up at Western Career Prep. You decided you wanted to go there. Why?
In the back of my mind, it was someplace I always wanted to be. It's just, the turnover there doesn't happen often. So when the English position opened up, I nabbed it as soon as I could, because I had, in the back of my mind, thought the at-risk students, that special population of people over there is who my heart was with and who I desired to be with.
And you're the only English teacher there.
Yep, so I teach the 9th through 12th grade English class, and then also teach a effective communications elective as well.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your road to education. First of all, you aren't from Jackson. How did you end up here?
So originally grew up in Hillsdale, went to Hillsdale Community Schools, and that's where I found my desire to teach. I think my 3rd grade teacher was my very favorite teacher, and kind of just instilled in me that teaching could be fun, that learning could be fun. And so I did my elementary, middle school years in Hillsdale Community Schools up to my freshman year, and then moved to Western Schools my sophomore year in high school. And then continued, graduated from Western, did 2 years at Jackson College, and then got my bachelor's and master's from Spring Arbor University.
Well, how cool is it to be teaching in the school you graduated from?
Yep, that's pretty amazing to just go back where I came from, and to be able to get put into that school what has been given to me ultimately. So that's been a blessing.
And you, like every teacher I know, inspired by a teacher growing up.
Yep. And I come from a family of educators as well. My dad was a high school counselor, my mom an English teacher, my grandma an English teacher. So, you know, I got to see and reap the benefits of seeing them in their profession and everything that they got to do as well. So
3rd generation.
3rd generation, yep.
Now, are any of your 5 kids teachers?
Not at this point, no. We do have, our second to oldest has taken on a preschool responsibility. So she's dabbling, getting her feet wet in that profession, and we'll see where that takes her, where that goes. So that would be the only one at this point.
Who knows? Who knows? There's one still at home, so things could change.
Yeah, true.
All right, let's take a look at some of the photos from last week's award ceremony. There are the top teachers, and you know, I think you probably know them all, don't you? It seems like there's a lot of collaboration.
It was the first that I've met quite a few of those. I'm familiar with some of the Northwest teachers, and then the cosmetologist instructor out at the Career Center. The rest, that was the first time meeting them.
Dakota Bailau, Rami Bivens, Courtney Byers, Sarah Druschel, Joy Johnson, Dee Dee Rush, Lauren Sager, Jennifer Taylor, and Kristen Teal. Congratulations.
Yes, very well deserving of all of them.
It's a lot of investigation that the Top Teachers Committee engages in. They come and they camp out in your classroom, and who knows what else they do, but it's a very, very intense vetting process, isn't it?
It is. It's much more intense than I expected. It starts with the application process and getting told that you were chosen in September. So I've been doing this process since September.
That was Dan Draper presenting you with the award.
Yep, from the Career Center.
Yeah. And you got to say a few words.
It's 2 of my favorite people right there.
Your husband,
my supportive husband,
knows
Kathy.
I think everyone on JTV knows Noah because he's been here many times.
He's a movie star.
And of course, Kathy Schmaltz.
Yeah. Good support system.
Nice. Were any of your I think your kids are
yep,
far
all
flung.
of them. I thought you were going to ask if they were there.
Were
But
they?
they were. We were able to get 4 out of the 5 there. So that was awesome. I didn't expect 2 of them the one from Nashville and the one from Chicago to be there, but they were able to come in, and that was totally amazing for them to get to celebrate with me last Tuesday.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure they're very proud of you and agree with me that a well-deserved honor.
Thank you.
I've known a little bit about you and your teaching career because I first met you probably 20 years ago when you and your husband started a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
And you came here and you wanted help promoting it, but you gave of yourself. You guys were the seed money. How did that all start?
So my husband Noah battled appendix cancer, and his first thought after being diagnosed with cancer was, what about our children? What about all the other children out there who face the same type of thing when they have a parent struggling with that disease? And we thought a good way to give back to the community would be to start a scholarship for any high school graduating county senior in Jackson County. Had they, have a parent that passed away unfortunately from cancer, or they battled cancer themselves, we decided that giving back in an education sort of manner was a positive thing, and that's when we decided to establish the scholarship through the Jackson Community Foundation.
And it's still going strong.
It still is. It's endowed scholarship, so we give $1,000 a year to a graduating high school senior who applies for that scholarship.
It's awesome. Your classroom at Western Options looks a little different than a normal classroom in any other school. The desks, there aren't desks. What do you have? How do you teach?
Just recently I got rid of my tables. I do still have round tables. It's set up with 4 round tables in my classroom, and the students, I know in the article it talked about how I believe in the power of circles.
Mm-hmm.
And so my classroom's set up gives them, they're capable to sit in circles so that they can communicate better with each other, get involved in activities with each other on a higher, more difficult level. But it's just, you think about sitting around a campfire, you're usually sitting around in a circle with friends or family, and maybe at a dinner table, you're sitting around a dinner table, and I just feel like it builds so much more community within my classroom to be sitting in that arrangement, sitting in circles so that we can all be involved rather than separate and in our own entities.
Cool. Well, let's take a look at some of the photos you sent over.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like graduation.
Yes, so our students can graduate once they have completed their 26 credits, and so throughout the year, students are giving their final portfolio presentation and doing an exit interview. And that is those 2 are the last projects they have to do before they take their cap and gown pictures. They won't get to walk until our May ceremony, but they are, once they reach their 26 credits, considered to be graduates. And so you'll see that once that's done, we get our pictures with the students who are on their way out. And that happens throughout the whole year. We've got kids exiting at different stages.
And you're located on the Woodville campus.
Mm-hmm.
How many students do you have?
Total, we have about 150. We house both the virtual and the in-person students, and so we have roughly 45 to 55 students in person on a daily basis.
A few years ago, the name was changed from the alternative high school to Western Options Career Prep. And you're a very strong proponent that what you have to do is get these students ready to work.
Absolutely. And that's my English 12B class is really focused on getting them to do career exploration, finding things that they're interested in, getting them out in the work field to visit and to shadow and go on field trips, and just exposing them to things that they're going to have to face after high school. So preparing them not only, for their careers, but also with those life skills that they're going to need to take outside the school building.
What's this team doing?
That's my staff, my lovely staff at Western Career Prep.
Wow, it takes a
It's
lot.
small but mighty.
Yeah. Well, I've been able to come into your building a few times because it's also the home of Little Panthers Preschool,
Yes.
where my grandson goes. But it looks like you have a pretty tight ship over there.
We do, and I'll tell you what, when everybody will agree, students and teachers, staff alike, that when we see those little people come in the morning, it just brings us such joy to see them walk past, and they're in the, in the routine of saying hi to us as we're standing there in the front door, and they're, it's just bring us such joy in the morning when, it's just an added extra bonus, I guess, of being in that location. So that's been fun for us.
Well, I think the kids have a similar feeling to see the big kids there too.
Yeah.
Now, you have compassion. That's been mentioned a few times in the article, the compassion that you have for your students. And I know that some of your students, they've had a tough time, and perhaps they're not in a school that they would have chosen because they might not have had success somewhere else. How much does that add, the struggles of a student, to teach and then get them prepared for a career?
To be honest, I think that our building provides such a home environment and welcoming environment that students who may not have been accepted elsewhere and come to us feel that love pretty much instantaneously. We get to know them. One of my big mottos is reach before you teach, and I'm so passionate about getting to know their stories and meeting them where they're at so that I can then start to build the academic piece and the teaching and the learning piece. And I hear often the kids say, we're so lucky to be here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, because they're being given another chance ultimately and being loved in a different way than what they're used to and given the attention that they really desire to have. And so we really are a very unique spot and a unique, I call it the secret of Western schools, but we just have so much to offer to the students who may have it a little rougher or may not have, connected in a regular traditional setting, and they seem, to do and thrive really well at Western Career Prep.
And I think it's important that the district has, they put resources toward this. A few years ago, I had a friend who was a principal at a career prep type high school, an alternative high school. He called it the smoking high school, where the kids that just didn't make it, they were just kind of brushed to the side, and that was it. But the fact that you are shooting to get kids in jobs, what are some of the things that you do? How do you get employers involved?
So we have, our counselor's really good at scheduling community managers and owners of companies and in different realms of healthcare and different fields. She's good at scheduling to get the people to come in to expose the kids of what their career entails. She's also good at scheduling outside visits to different places. We visited Baby Bear Burger. We've visited some, care homes and a couple of the trade school type factories that the kids might be interested in. So it's really our counselor who coordinates those things and brings those people to our building and then gets our students out into the community.
So do you think your final assignment at Western schools at Western Options?
I think so. Yep, I think I can do another 5 years there. No, we'll say another 10, but I see 5's good. That'll be 30.
Do you hear back from your students?
All the time. The connections that we can make now on Facebook, just seeing them around the community. I get phone calls, I get invitations in the mail. It's just constant, always hearing back from former students, and it just that brings it whole circle, because I feel like my work is complete, and it brings me such joy.
Well, we're proud of you, and we congratulate you, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, absolutely.
The Teacher of the Year, Jackson's top teacher in the Jackson Magazine annual Top Teachers Award program, high school English teacher at Western Career Prep, Teresa Nagy.